Lindsey Graham and the Republicans look like they're about to get what they want, which is a Supreme Court justice. Damn the norms, damn the hypocrisy, all of that. It's been a complete sham, and she is going to be incredibly damaging on the court until it's reformed or expanded. Dianne Feinstein doesn't seem to have that big of a problem with it. Take a look at what she had to say about Lindsey Graham.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to thank you. This has been one of the best set of hearings that I've participated in. And I want to thank you for your fairness and the opportunity of going back and forth. It leaves one with a lot of hopes, a lot of questions, and even some ideas, perhaps some good bipartisan legislation we can put together to make this great country even better. So thank you so much for your leadership.
I hate that so much. I hate it so much. That this process has made her hopeful that our great country can become even greater. The fact that he is doing the last bit of salt in the wound after participating in stealing a Supreme Court seat and then saying, use the video against me, that we won't do it in our own last year, and then doing it in their own last year, pretending it's about the Kavanaugh thing because the person who should be most offended by that entire process is someone like Lindsey Graham, and then just pushing it through with literally days to go until the election. That makes her the person who might be in charge of that committee if the Democrats take over. And if there is to be reform of the Supreme Court, would have to be a very important part of it. Who should know better? She is hopeful as a result of all that Lindsey Graham has done.
Thank you to the 87-year-old, literally 87-year-old Dianne Feinstein. That back and forth reminds me of, there's an old SNL sketch with Eddie Murphy from the 80s where he puts on white face to see what white people are like when they're alone together. And the joke is they give each other stuff. And he goes in as a white, it's like White Chicks, but he's a white guy. He goes to a bank, and the bank manager says, here, take the money and give it back whenever, or don't. That's what it felt like. It felt like Dianne Feinstein didn't understand what just happened in politics over the last 25 years and didn't understand what happened in politics, over the last 4 years. In the last 2 years since Lindsey Graham said, use this video against me. After Kavanaugh, doubling down on all those thoughts. She doesn't understand it. And it didn't seem like there was any incentive for, I don't know. It didn't seem like there was any inclination of her to change the rules in a way that would keep any of this nonsense from happening in the future. It just seemed like she was about to go over there and give him a hug, which, boy, she absolutely did.
And that's a great transition. Let's go to that. Yeah, so look, that's bad because of all that we've just been through, but also individually bad because they're both maskless. On average, they're 105 years old. Lindsey Graham refused to get tested for COVID despite potentially being exposed to it because he didn't want to have to not be involved in this process. Yet another way that he was effectively breaking the rules. He just broke the rules, by the way, in the scheduling of the vote on her in the committee. And literally in his speech just said we can do whatever we want effectively because the Democrats are being mean to us. And she went up and maskless hugged him, which is terrible optics. It's terrible for the case that you're trying to make that people need to be more responsible, and also offensive because of the individual man that you decided to do it with.
And not only that, but he also literally broke campaign finance law by asking for donations on Senate premises. So there are no consequences. The only consequence left at our disposal is to vote them out of office, something that we are handicapped against because of the way that the system is set up. We always come back to having to win the election by 4 percentage points or more to have a 75% chance. I was thinking about the Electoral College, which was set up originally to make it so that the people who knew about politics could have sway over politics. People who had the opportunity to be educated about what was going on in the world would have the power, and the people that didn't know what was going on wouldn't have the power. And there's all this argument that we need to keep it in place because we're going with what the original intent of the founding fathers was when it comes to picking the president. But their intent behind it is completely counter to what's happening. Now, uneducated people about politics, the ones who are not college educated, and this is a super elitist argument, but it's just one to prove the logic. Those are the ones that are picking the president, and the folks that have more at stake, the ones that are the more educated folks. And I'm just going with the way that the founders framed it. They wanted the elite, educated people to dictate who was the president. And now the opposite is happening. And that's thanks to the Electoral College. And I think it would be a lot simpler to just get rid of it and let people vote.
Obviously, I agree. That's one of many reforms I think are coming, and one of many reforms that probably Dianne Feinstein would stand in the way of, because she still thinks that we're in the Reagan years and thinks that those years were good, and thinks that the Republicans, kind of like echoing a little bit of Joe Biden from last night, that they will be reasonable at some point. That Lindsey Graham, he's under like a fever dream right now, but that fever will break as soon as Donald Trump goes away. It's not gonna happen. They have gotten what they want by doing these terrible things. Why would they stop doing them? And that's an issue.
Yeah, sorry. And before you move on, something even more ridiculous is the governor of Maryland just voted for Ronald Reagan for president.
Yeah, exactly. He might make it. But anyway, so that's an issue with them. It's an issue with the Supreme Court. It's also an issue with Dianne Feinstein. I really wish that she had lost her last election. What is she doing? Like in the interaction that she had with the Sunrise Movement like 2 years ago, she just doesn't get it. She doesn't understand the stakes in the challenges that face our country, and she doesn't get who the Republican Party is. She doesn't. And look, she's 87. At some point, it becomes harder to keep up with all of these insane changes that are happening. Some people do it better than others. She seems to be having a big problem with that. She's wrong on the issues. She's devoted to the will of these donors that obviously we don't agree with. She needs to be replaced. I'm assuming that she won't be running for re-election in 4 years, if I had to guess. But if she does, I really hope that like a Ro Khanna or a Katie Porter go up against her. I'm worried that they might not because of how much seniority she has. I really hope that it's an open seat that they or others can run in. But God, she has got to get out of there. This is not just cringeworthy. It is deeply bad for our country that people like her are standing in the face of reforms that we need.
I'll tell you what, Ro Khanna is in a really good position to eventually get that, because he's in a place with a lot of money, and he's also in a place where he has been on the record reaching across the aisle in specific ways, in very Justice Democrat ways. But that's an interesting career trajectory to watch. And yeah. He's great at communicating.
He is. He's very good. He's very good. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.